Hello everyone, I'm Tim McInerney. I'm the Town Administrator for the Town of Northborough. I'm here with Jason Little, who is our Finance Director. And we're here in a series of informational sessions that the Fire Station Building Committee wanted to put on to educate the public about the upcoming vote. Town meeting will be on October 7th at 7 o'clock, and then a subsequent ballot vote on the Fire Station Building Committee for November 5th during the presidential election. And we're here today to cover the tax impact that this project will bring if it were to pass. Our goal, Jason's goal, is to do this as efficiently as possible and to minimize the impact as much as possible. So there's interest rates, there's timing, there's terms of the borrowing that we'll consider as it relates to the impact to the taxpayer. So Jason, can you talk to us a little bit about the impact to the taxpayer?
Sure. My goal of participating here was to explain to residents and have them make an informed decision that they're going to have to make at town meeting and at the ballot about this project. As time has gone on, this project was first conceived of in 2006 and has been discussed since that point. Over a period of time, the project cost has escalated with inflation and design plans and specifics with materials and planning and interest rates and so forth. The goal that we have here today is to present taxpayers and residents with the most up-to-date information we can and try to answer anybody's questions. So first of all, the town would identify and discuss a potential capital need. Usually that starts with a request being made within the capital planning process, and a department head would conceive of a project and bring it forward to the town administrator, who would then shepherd that through the financial boards and committees, starting with the Financial Planning Committee and their 6-year capital plan. After the project goes through publicly through the public boards and committees, the financial boards, eventually the legislative body gets to weigh in, and that's town meeting and the ballot election. And a warrant article will be crafted and put on a town meeting vote. Town meeting is the legislative body for the town, and legislative body approval is required for any spending that we do within town. Following the approval of a project, a major project like this would involve issuing debt for the town, which would occur over a period of time, maybe 10 to 30 years. In the case of a building project that's large, like this proposed project, it would be 30 years. And after that project, the town could commence on the building project. Again, as I mentioned before, the project was first conceived of in 2006. The first article that went to town meeting was for the feasibility phase, and that was to come up with initial cost estimates and to weigh things like would an addition at the existing fire station be sufficient, or does a new building need to be constructed. That article in 2006 was $75,000. There is debt issued for that project, and it was paid off a long time ago. So there will be no further tax impact related to that first phase. The second phase was the land acquisition and architectural design development phase, which was about $3.5 million, and that was an article that was approved at 2019 town meeting. The town was able to transfer surplus bond funds from the Lincoln Street School project, which had surplus at the end of that project. Approximately $1.4 million of the $3.5 million was a transfer from existing bond proceeds that the town had received as a part of that school project. The balance of that was a borrowing authorization of $2.1 million, and we currently have that debt outstanding in short-term debt. And then lastly, we have the future phase of the project, which is the construction phase, and that's what's pending special town meeting and the ballot election. Massachusetts municipal debt is a very high-quality investment. There will be institutional investors who bid on this debt. So it could be something that would go into a mutual fund or some kind of consolidated bond fund or something to that nature. So the bidding will be competitive. It will be an auction that's put out to institutional investors. 30 years is typically longer than anything that the town borrows for. 20 years has been the longest life of debt that the town's incurred in the past. What if we had borrowed for 20 years instead of 30? That would obviously decrease interest costs over that period of time, but would also increase the amount of principal payments that the town has to make over those 20 years. The town has a long-term financial policy surrounding debt, and the town should have somewhere between 5 to 10% of its operating budget should be its debt service budget. This town, planning for some of these larger projects which have gotten delayed, this town has a very low debt load at 3% of its budget. There's some significant projects that have happened in the past, and there's been a frequent question as to, are there going to be any years where debt drops off to fit this project in? And it may not be immediate, but there are some, as we have declining debt schedules, every year that we pay down a new project, we may have new projects coming in the future that are not being calculated here. But in the meantime, as we talked about the annual impact of the fire station project, we're projecting out a $472 impact for the fire station project in 2026. As we said, that's an average of $344 over 30 years, but it's higher at the beginning and then it tapers down over the years. So
and that factors in all existing debt that's on the books.
Correct. So there may be some issued debt that is going to be paid off at some points in the future. And a couple of those significant projects are the 2000 Algonquin Regional High School's addition renovation project. 2027 is going to be the final year of debt for that project. So this doesn't affect the numbers for the fire station in any way, but it does affect the overall debt budget, whereas we are not going to need to pay for $650,000 in 2028 that existed in 2027. The next significant debt that's going to, quote, drop off is the 2008 library construction project. 2028 is the final year of the debt for that project. And the debt service budget will reduce about $236,000 in 2029. And again, these numbers, they've tapered down over the years and they're relatively insignificant compared to over $3 million and that it would be added as a result of the fire station project, but they will have an effect. So the town has a debt policy and the fire station falls within that debt policy.
We want to thank you for your time. Jason, thank you for coming on with me and explaining the fire station project and the debt service impact. There's a lot of time to gather information, and that's why we're here. And if you have questions or if this led to other concerns you may have, we're happy to take those phone calls. So we appreciate your time and thank you very much.